This is an update that deserved its own video. Zena passed away on January 29th of her long-standing injuries. This video is a tribute to her. She lived life to the fullest, and I could not have gotten luckier to spend 9 years with her. When I was living in Playas de Tijuana, Mexico, there was a listing for un pastor belga, or Belgian Shepherd puppy. I was working with a protection dog trainer at the time, so this breed was of interest to me. When I got to the meeting spot, the puppy was clearly younger than they had said, but when I saw the way they pulled her out of the trunk of their car and handled her, I gave the man my money and I drove away. I named this little one Zena, after Zena the princess warrior. Zena ended up having parvo and a few other illnesses. The vet said she wouldn't make it and thought that I should put her down. I wanted to give her every chance, so she stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks. Thinking Zena wouldn't make it, and in agony, I got another puppy, Axel, a Doberman. Thankfully, Zena fully recovered, so now it was the 3 of us. My apartment was 2 blocks away from a long stretch of beach. We walked it every day, sometimes both sunrise and sunset. Zena was the best puppy and dog I could have dreamed of. They moved back with me to my parents' home in California, where we restarted our lives together. When I wasn't working, Zena, Axel, and I were at the park, the beach, or hiking some mountain. Then came Zach. Zach and I's first date was taking the dogs to Dog Beach in Huntington. They both fell in love with him and accepted him as one of the pack. When Zach and I got married, my parents kept Axel with them, and it was back to Zena and I. And Zach, of course. When we moved to San Juan Island, Washington, Zena was ready for a new adventure. She was confused about the extra large dog that all of a sudden joined the family. When I went for trail rides with Kazi, she would come too. Her and Kazi seemed to have a mutual agreement. They didn't have to like each other, but they would get along. For me.
Good girl, good girl.
Zena was an adventurer. She hiked with me everywhere and was the best camping buddy you could have asked for. She was always up for a hike no matter how long, and she was always down to take a dip in the water, especially if she could chase a stick or a rock or a ball while doing so.
Wow! Is that a good stick? Come here. It's right here. Oh gosh.
When we moved to Texas, Zena was sitting shotgun. She had moved from Mexico to California to Washington and now to Texas. She was becoming a well-traveled dog. Besides being a traveler, she was the biggest cuddle bug. She loved sleeping like a human with her head on the pillow and preferred being the little spoon. She was a gentle dog and very trustworthy. She was good with my rats, the various kittens we rescued, and the random dogs that wandered the neighborhood. One day, Zena and I were out feeding the horses. When we finished our chores, she began her routine of sprinting back to the house. As she did, she let out a loud yelp and ran 3-legged back to the cabin. When I brought her in the house, she laid down and didn't leave her bed for an entire day. I was hoping she had stepped on a thorn or maybe had a muscle cramp, but when she finally got up from her bed and hobbled outside with me, it seemed like something more serious. Her x-rays showed what we had feared. She had torn her ACL. Unfortunately, on the other back leg, she had a fast-growing tumor that was right on top of her knee. The vets said that if they removed the tumor, it would grow back even faster. They recommended amputation of that left back leg. The problem with this was that the right back leg with the torn ACL could not carry her weight on its own. So, if we got her the ACL repair surgery, it would take at least 6 months before it would be healed enough to carry the load of both legs. And then, even after that, my vet said there was a high risk that her ACL would re-tear right after amputation of the left leg. I bought her a dog wheelchair to see if that would help her get around for a while, but she hated it. And the way the straps held up her body put pressure on the painful areas of both of her legs. I went back and forth on what to do. I really struggled deciding what was best. Finally, after weeks of indecision, we decided we wouldn't put her through multiple surgeries, but instead we would let her live out her days until it was time to say goodbye. She still loved life. The tumor didn't seem to bother her movement, so she got around with a limp and we kept her on the leash whenever we were outside. This was a different way of life for her now, but she was happy. She still camped with us in New Mexico, Colorado, and Arkansas. Rather than long hikes, she just sat back and smelled the rocks and took in the sights. I was able to cherish every minute with her, knowing that I didn't have much more time. It's been 5 months since she passed, and life is different. I think it always will be. What I would give to go on one more beach walk with my little puppy or cuddle her to sleep. She was a once-in-a-lifetime dog, and I know I'll never be able to fill that Zena-shaped hole in my heart. I was so lucky to have her as my own. Zena was a big part of my life, and therefore also this channel. I know I wanted to share this with you guys, but I've been struggling making this video, as you can probably tell. It feels like closing a chapter that I just don't want to close.